Welcome or welcome back to Dripping in Alchemy. My name is Starr. My word, that got to the back of my throat, and I think there's a reason for that. I'm going to enter into the space with a rose incense, and I felt like I needed to change incense for this reading, everyone. And I feel like that is a deeper message for some. And in the first reading of this Capricorn Super Strawberry Moon, there was a strong sense of the divine feminine energy in the first reading, and this part 2 is, I want to say, directed at the divine masculine, and we can switch between those two energies. We all hold both, and everything is welcome here, but there is something about the masculine energy needing to understand the feminine at a deeper capacity. And I kicked over this book as I was going to get the incense, and I'm hearing some masculines might want to read this book to help understand the divine feminine right now. 50-51 on the clock there, Women Who Run with Wolves, and it's an incredibly dense expression, and it's a beautiful read. And I feel like there is something to us understanding our masculine and feminine energy at its deepest capacity, especially those that are trying to expand. And I wanted to bring in more crystals. I felt drawn to bring in my Lemurian quartz 111 on the clock there. I brought in the Shiva stone as well. I brought in some rhodonite, which is connecting to the divine heart space. I brought in some tourmaline, which is one of my favorite little crystals that I keep on me often. And I brought in this flashy labradorite dragon's egg, but I see it as a dragon's eye. And there was another crystal to this that was brought in a set that I was gifted, and I chucked the other crystal into a river because it needed healing. And I feel like that's an expression for some. There is something about the waterways right now stepping forward specifically for masculine energy. So what do I want to do? I'm going to just jump right in with some more tarot I'm hearing, because I feel like there is this masculine force. What are you bringing to the table? I want to say right now, and what is this Capricorn moon? What is the Capricorn moon meaning to you? Yeah, fast moving action, 2-2 on the clock there. If you are a divine masculine connected to a divine feminine, it is now time for action, because you've come out of your shadow space. And this is the justice here. You're ready to create something that I'm hearing is monumental. And you are feeling this. You're feeling this. You're feeling like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to build. And you can do this, but I'm hearing it's going to take us being in tandem and unison together to create what we want. The masculine and the feminine coming in together. So time for introspection with both, with each other. And, you know, whether this is friends, whether this is colleagues, whether this is family, whether this is a divine partnership that you find yourself in, or you're questioning whether that is the case, can you work together? That's the main, I'm going to say that's the main issue. Can you work together? Is this going to be possible? Yeah, or is this just going to bring more heartache? And for some, this has been the fear that working together is only going to bring more heartache. But I'm hearing that that phase is going through a death and a rebirth, 3-3 on the clock there, because actually you're all ready to move into calmer waters. It's like, I'm over it. I just want to be, oh, I've never really looked at this card so deeply, because this is a deck that I use for others, but I'm relating this kind of into my heart space right now, and seeing this in a space of, you know, getting in the boat and just being like, gosh, that was a lot, like so much. And now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to just be guided into a place of safety. And I'm hearing that this is an understanding of perhaps coming out of the underworld too, and only take what resonates. But for some, it's like you've been in the underworld, in the upside down for so long that you've forgotten that there was anything else. And I feel like this masculine energy, this might have been where you have been. And when I say the underworld, when I say the upside down, it can just be a lack of love in your life. You know, it can just be a lack of nourishment, a lack of support, a lack of comfort. It's like now that is coming in for you. And I'm hearing that's all you've actually ever wanted. But you didn't know it. You didn't know, or you were taught that wasn't the right thing to want. And it's like everything's kind of been flipped back on itself, because you realize that was all I ever wanted. 44, and hearing that Billie Eilish, everything that I wanted. And it's like you did get everything that you thought that you wanted, and it still left you feeling like you wanted to go packing. Yeah, you had too many in your ear, some telling you what to do. And yeah, now you're just leading with the heart. And I'm hearing it feels terrifying. It feels so terrifying, but you know now. Yeah, you know what you want, and it is just love. Keep hearing all we need is love. And it's true. Yeah, but you've been working through a lot of heartache, a lot of things from the past. And perhaps it didn't look like that to others. Perhaps this looked like, I don't know, I can't bring it through. It's almost like perhaps this looked like you weren't healing, but you were. And I'm hearing masculine and feminine energy line in very different ways. So perhaps what didn't look like healing from the outside perspective was actually very healing to you. And everything is going to be so individualistic, but it's almost like I can't bring a specific forward because it's going to be different for everyone's circumstances. But what didn't look like healing from the outside was actually healing for you. And perhaps you haven't even noticed this for self. It's like the healing actually came in doors being shut in your face, and you didn't expect this to happen. But this allowed for you to see what you actually truly wanted, because it's almost like you got so frustrated at the doors being shut in your face that it made you sit with yourself and your heart. And you didn't know that you weren't listening to your heart until you got to sit in that space. But to you, perhaps it just felt like time after time after time, things just weren't working out and you couldn't understand why. And that's why I can't bring it forward, because there was such a disconnect. And perhaps you're still working through this. Perhaps this reading is the start of your journey. It's the start of, oh, okay, like now I have to listen to my heart. Yeah. Maybe you want to go and take a pilgrimage somewhere, go away by yourself. Yeah, so that when you come back, you feel ready to be seen. And for some, you're ready to be seen right now. You've done this. You had this journey. You went on this pilgrimage. And now is your time to shine with love. Yeah, and this feels so very new. And I brought up aerial yoga in the first reading, and now here it is with the Hanged Man. That divine inspiration, that cosmic source is waiting for you. And for some, it's waiting for you on the other side of this heartache. And you don't have to just be the masculine energy here. But if you live predominantly in your masculine energy, this is your reading. And perhaps this is to help you understand, because I think when we are inherently divine beings, we hold such predominant masculine and feminine energy at the exact same time, and it's helping you understand both aspects. And for some, I'm hearing you've had to lead a double life, because you've had to be the divine masculine and the divine feminine in your life. And you know, this goes back to creating safe spaces from childhood. So you had to fill in the blanks in this space. And I said that in the first reading, the blank fills in the blank for the blank, but it's like you had to be mom, dad, everything to yourself. And it's only in the recent years that you've acknowledged this. And it's like there wasn't any room for creativity at all. It wasn't allowed. I'm hearing creativity wasn't allowed in your home. And that's not going to be for all, but perhaps some creativity was also a weapon. I do this, so you should do this. And perhaps this is what is being shown to you right now, is the spaces in which you felt clawed at. Yeah, I'm hearing Claudette. That's stepping forward. Claudette. Ancestors are bringing forward something for you to run with. I'm hearing don't be a fool. Don't be a fool, but this is yours. And I want to go back into the Rose Oracle and being guided to Claudette, Antoinette, Billie Jean, I'm hearing. And that's making me think of Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. But yeah, this feels very cryptic, and I've just pulled a load of Rose Oracle cards, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Wild Rose, do it your way, embracing the uniqueness and untamed. And I think for some of you, you've been so wary to be untamed because it wasn't safe. But now you're stepping into a phase of, if they don't love me exactly as I am, then they don't deserve to be in my life. And I'm hearing everyone like literally clapping so loud behind the scenes, because they're like, finally they get it. Finally they understand it. This is what it was always supposed to draw you to. Release the petals, transformation, death, rebirth, shedding, all change. And this is exactly it. The places that you've been pulled at, you're now releasing. It's like someone had you bound so tightly and you just couldn't see it. And all of a sudden, the blinkers have come off. I'm seeing like the horse blinkers, like they've fallen off, and you've just gone, oh my gosh. Yeah, plant yourself here, integration, embodiment, grounded action. And you thought, why did I plant roots here? Like this, I'm hearing like this soil is rotten. I ended up watching a bit of a documentary about soil, which is very, very interesting, showing my nerd side here. But there is something about making sure that the roots that you plant now are coming from fertilized soil and fertile soil, not just because of your own nourishment, but from someone else's. This is the idea of equal reciprocity. You were bringing everything to your relationships and you just didn't know it. And in fact, it's almost like you were bringing nothing because you weren't bringing your heart to, which is why everything kept crumbling down. But now you understand this. Now you understand, oh wait, if I don't bring love into a situation, then it's just never going to work. But you thought that it could. And I'm hearing, for others, this does work out, but this was not supposed to be your life path. You're now understanding what a calling there is on your life to be loved. And I think you just didn't understand it before. But now you do. Sophia, divine plan, wisdom, intelligence within, and destiny. And this was your destiny. And you might want to look into the Sophia code and who Sophia is in terms of that energy here to help you find balance. The second bloom, second chance is not too late, new possibilities. And this is it. You're getting a new opportunity. Everyone that is here, and it is time. And in this transition, you are starting to see all the spaces where you could perceive things as going wrong. 11 and confirmation on there, but you can see that as an initiation if you want to. Perhaps flipping the script will help you. Healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. And I said trust chew. So there's something about chewing. I don't know what that means. And okay, I'm being drawn to, I'm seeing dog chews in my mind, dog toys, and the idea of chewing down on something. When I was going through my ascension process, I brought a baby chew because there was just so much energy coming into my body that I needed to chew down on something to make sure that I wasn't going to damage my teeth and my jaw. And that might be significant for some. So there's that crazy note for you. Getting a backstage into my life. Come to me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance and desires. And yeah, I'm hearing fatal attraction. And I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, you got seduced into certain spaces, some of you, and that's okay. But now you understand that, that seductive energy perhaps is not going to make a home. And you see that now. The Great Mother, surrender to the mystery, fall into her arms. And this is it. You're going back to Divine Mother. And perhaps, there is mother wounds here for all that is watching, masculine, feminine, everything in between. And now you're going back to that great cosmic mother and what that means. And maybe there are spaces where you want to explore what that means. You want to explore that expression through, I'm hearing different doctrine, nothing is off the table. The fertile void, and that's what I kept seeing, just this void space. Inner winter rest, patience, potency, secret beginnings. And I had another channel creating oracle, creating all types of readings. I don't know why I said oracle. Maybe that is because that reading is oracle based, but I'm going to tag it in the description. It was titled The Void. It was so powerful, very, very potent, and there is a light code connected to that from a very dear Starr sister, and it felt life shattering. So I'm going to bring it here just in case that is of benefit. But there is something to that. There is something to that fertile void coming back around again, because I'm hearing that it is time. Whispers of Mother Earth, creative ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. You are a channel for divine creation, and I think some aren't seeing that. And I'm seeing this section here almost look like a face, like an eye with the hair coming down. It's like you're starting to see the things that others can't see. And your intuition is coming online. I'm hearing because you are tapping into your divine feminine energy within balance now. And perhaps, you missed the first reading because you wasn't supposed to receive it. Now go back and receive it, because there is something now that is going to make more sense to you. So watch this reading, go and watch the first part, because there is something that's coming back around. I keep hearing Green Day when I come around. The child within, innocence mother, inner mother, so mother, innocence mother. So maybe you're having to look at the innocence of your mothering energies here, because often as parents, they don't know the damage that they're doing because it's unconscious, but they're only working with the best that they have. And we come in with those soul contracts. We say, okay, I'm going to experience that so that I can break free of it. And for some time, perhaps you've been set in victimhood, or an over-masculated energy because you wasn't taught to be in feminine, or you didn't know how to be in a balanced masculine energy because you wasn't taught that because of this fracture I'm hearing with the divine feminine in your childhood. But only take what resonates, and if you need to take space, to create time to work through that, please do, and please know that I'm here to support you. But if you find that you want to take this to a very specific space, do that, because I'm hearing that you will be guided where to go with this, because there is a deep wound that I think still needs addressing. Yeah, and I'm literally like touching my heart as I say that. So listen to that calling. The breathing rose, heart healing, emotions connection, time eases. And I'm hearing time heals all wounds, time eases all wounds. And I think this is something that only some are starting to understand. Like I'm hearing you've gotten over a very specific heartbreak that happened a very long time ago, and you didn't realize how much this had impacted you. But that I'm hearing that neglect wound, that abandonment wound was just so raw and ripe through a lot of your life, that now you see the space in which you can be yourself and just be held. And it's time for you to bloom. Creations realize, right time, harvest, and celebrate. Yeah, it's time for your celebration. And I literally heard someone say, no, it's not. No, it's not. And, perhaps that is true. Perhaps that there's more work that needs to be done. And I don't want to say work, but that feels so heavy when I said it. Someone feels like there is more work to be done. And if that is the truth, that's okay. We all go through these phases. Even the divine feminine. Someone's looking at a divine feminine right now and being like, they didn't have to go through this. I promise you that they did. They went through just as much. And yes, they might look like they are further down the line, but I'm hearing they chose to dig deep at a time when you couldn't, and that's okay. But now you have to do this work, because this is for you, and it was always about you. When we heal, it's always about us. And great if we can get in tandem with someone and heal together, but at times that's just not possible. And when that's the truth, we just have to turn within and just know that everything happened in the time that it needed to at that moment. And perhaps you look back and you think, if only, and that's okay too. Yeah, don't have any regrets. Don't have any regrets. The anointed, answer the call, leadership, empowerment, and soul's gifts. And yeah, perhaps you feel like you didn't answer the call when you were supposed to, but there was no other choice, I'm hearing, at that time for you. Otherwise you would have made that choice. You did what you thought was best. And hindsight is, can we really say that? That's what I like to think anyway. We can't ever say, because we don't ever know. And what didn't happen. So you have to just move on from here. Yeah, and let it go, because now is about you. And I think this is really difficult for some to sit with right now, that you might have lost something that was very precious to you. But you're coming home to self, and that's the most important thing. Yeah, it's making me emotional. Oh. Again, this was a lot, and I'm going to leave it here. If you would like support in your spaces, please know that I'm here. But I feel like this is something that you shouldn't be doing alone, if these last messages resonated with you. And I think part 3 is going to be a joining of what is truly transforming in this strawberry moon. But I keep saying snow moon, and that's what I said in the first chapter of these readings. It's like there is something that is repeating again, but it's so that you make the right decision. The right decision is coming back to heal you, regardless of what is happening in your life. And this took a different turn. So perhaps, what you're listening to now, Divine Masculines, if it's not for you, this is for someone else that might be going through this cycle. Peep it and speak to them, tell them that you're here for them. And I think that there isn't enough of that. There isn't enough balanced masculine energies holding masculines through their time of transition and change. And perhaps, sometimes a masculine needs a feminine touch to bring them into that space. But I'm hearing it's time for everyone to be in their divine energy. So masculines, if there's friends around you that you think they might need my help, go and speak to them, go and help them, go and lend a helping hand. Because, yeah, they need your help, I'm hearing. and we can't save anyone else, but I'm hearing a kind ear will go a long way right now. And that feels very, very, very specific. But I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to jump into part 3. Everyone, thank you for bearing with me. I feel like there is just so much trying to come forward. It's very interesting for me to read this as a reader, this frequency and this energy. But I feel like it's just because it's so heavy with change and transition that I can't bring specific expressions forward because it's too personal. And I kind of don't want to misguide anyone. So if you do feel the calling for an extended reading, please do not hesitate to reach out. But part 3 is on its way to you. Take care. Bye.